this is the second time I've run it after 2 years. So it's going to be a miraculous event where we are going to come in and create the shifts to get you to the next level, to get you to quantum jump. It's really understanding what the missing pieces of manifestation really is and how can you create that new reality for yourself. Go ahead and sign up at bit.ly.com/miracle shift. It's free for the next, I think, 3 or 4 days, depending if I wanted to open it free again. But if you wanted to grab the first seats, go ahead right now, bit.ly.com/miracle shift, SHIFT. Now let's dive into this episode about Women's Celebration Day.
Welcome to Empower Me Podcast. My name is Mai Pu, your host and empowerment coach with passion on helping women tapping onto their feminine power and create life by desire. I have been in a special positions where I have an overview on the successful path and gather the tips, the knowledge, and the tools to help you get there faster as well. Each episode will be a motivational talk or an inspiring conversation to uplift your spirits, fuel your passions, and drive you to the destination. Now, let's grab your cup of tea and enjoy your conversation today with me.
Hi, welcome to Impact Me Podcast. And today is such a special day. I'm recording this live on International Women's Day. And luck it is to be a lady, isn't it? I know that so many of us have got to where we are achieving, and we are so proud of a lot of achievement and the milestone that we have done. But there's still some little voices inside of us that, still weight us down and doesn't make us want to feel special today. I really remember every year when I was, as long as I can remember, like year 1 and year 2, coming towards this day in Vietnam is a huge celebration. People would give the flowers to teachers, and people would give the flowers to the girl who was so popular, and not just flowers, also gifts. And it's kind of like a silent race between everyone to see who is more popular by the flowers and the gifts that they've got, right? And every single day coming to this day, I remember I would be so nervous. I would feel so down just because of the fact that I was never that popular girl in the school. It takes a lot to say this word out there, but I was feeling like I was invisible and I was never that popular in school, even though I was, ranking second or third in classes, being that, team leader or like captains and, pretty girl, I would say, and I've been on TV a couple of times. I don't know, the feeling inside of us is never determined by the external factors. And even if you are surrounded by a bunch of flowers, and if you are surrounded by a bunch of gifts, or you're not, at the deep down, some part of us still feel unworthy, and some part of us still feel, am I good enough by, people giving me more flower this year, not more flower this year. Like, we felt the same way in this day. And I felt this nostalgic feeling when this day approached. But of course, this year, I'm not going to feel nervous because I know how to celebrate my own Women's Day. But I wanted to share this two things inside of this podcast because it is such a both sides of a coin, where previously you might felt unpopular, you might felt not worthy, you might felt like I would never get to the places of, that pretty girl would have, or that, intelligent girl would have. And still, when you becoming this powerful version of who you are, when you act on the highest potential, especially when you want to become a coach or when you want to be that YouTuber, podcaster, influencer, this stuff still going to be brought up. So I'm going to explain to you what happened and why. First of all, let's face the first sides, the fear of being seen, the unpopularity myths of who we are, right? And this comes directly from the inner child, where we get little attention from our parents, especially our mom or our dads, where we always felt less than worthy because we couldn't speak our voices. And as long as you speak your voices, someone would punish you, someone would shout it at you, someone would shut you down, someone would make you wrong, someone would make you feel terrible by speaking like, I don't want to eat that rice, I don't want to go to that park. Like, your opinion never been respected, and the only thing that is God when you speak your truth was just being shut down and never be able to be acknowledged. And that come directly from our inner child wound. And that inner child always attached her worth by how other people behaving and reacting around her, especially if you be a nice girl, you be quiet, you trying to tick all the checklists, you do the homework, and you be that beautiful girl. That is how you felt safe, because then you follow the standard of beauty and standard of good enough, and that is how people give you that praises, that acknowledgement, that compliments that you've been craving for. But that is going to harm you if we grow up, we go into that career change, we're going to become that leader, we're going to become that influencer, that change maker, that futurist, that pioneer, that coach, that mentor. Like when we want to act on that space, we literally have to become the leader in our own life. And that would scare the inner child so much, because it's really funny. Underneath that unpopularity feeling is the fear of being seen. Yeah, take that in for a moment. It is the fear of being seen. What if I showed up and speaking my truth? Would people like it? What if I'm showing up and saying what I know to be the truth for myself? I'm not speaking about the ultimate truth. I'm speaking about the truth for myself. Would people really endorse it? I just showed up and declare my opinion. Would people actually stand by me? I'm just afraid that if I show up that powerful, my partner, my husband, my boyfriend, whoever around you cannot take it, cannot handle it, because I'm bloody powerful than who I am. Right? That fear of being seen have been following us unconsciously since day one, when we didn't have that opinion validated, when we didn't have that acknowledgement happening at home. Now, when you think, like at that age, when you look at the popular girl who got all the flowers, who got all the gifts, you would feel like, oh, she's so good. And secretly, we are comparing and envious. We also place her on a pedestal. So we literally see her higher than who we are. We judge her just because she have more gifts and she look beautiful, because she's confident. We judge her, we compare her, and we separate ourselves. We never think she would be like us and we can be someday like her. And because she take all the gifts, then we have none left in our life. So that is literally how we are drive to feel judgmental, comparing, and also envious, and sometimes putting them on pedestals. Secretly, you want to be like her, but at the same time, you hated how she take all the lights, right? But now I want to show you the other side of the story, because I've been there. I've been to that place where I compare and I envy. I think other people are so bloody amazing and I'm not nothing and I'm no one. And I'm now in the other side of it. I'm not popular. I'm not famous, but I actually know how it looks like to be a public figure. What it is like to, show up and talk about yourself in front of public. That is what I define public figure. And when we become that coach, when we become that little bit of like known, like that name, that branding, you're actually under the pressure to perform. That girl who was so pretty, she actually felt the same way of like she have to keep up the faces, she have to keep up the beauty, she have to keep all of up so that she keep having the same treatment all over again. So that is what I call pressure to perform. And I received beautiful questions from my private clients the other day, and she was wondering, would she want to become a YouTuber? And she looked at me, she's like, oh my gosh, like you've created that community, you've been known, you have that many downloads on your podcast, and people literally actually know you if they actually want to learn about feminine energy. How can you handle the pressure to perform? How can you be that perfect models in their eyes all the time? And guess what the answer of me here be? I used to think the same way, but then I came to realize that I don't need to perform. I don't need to perform, because as a coach, as a mentor, whoever you name yourself, or the YouTuber or trendsetter, you are just a guidance. You're just a guidance. You're not the teacher. You're not the one who tell people what to behave and how to think and what to walk. If you're actually following a teacher who are teaching you that, be mindful, because my philosophy based from a very genuine factor of law of the universe. We are one, the oneness, right? We are one. So this is literally how I see in myself the potential, and I literally see in all of you, thousands of people who are listening to this podcast, or even more later. I see in you that potential in creating the same abundance, in creating the same magnificent result in the same way. I see that. And I don't see anyone smaller than who they think they are. You might think yourself so small because you fear your inner child. You haven't addressed them. That's why you feel the same way. Don't put me or anyone who are in front of you or ahead of you to the pedestal, because we are just 1 step or 2 step or 10 steps ahead of you. But we want to guide you to that position faster by telling you what we think, how we behave, and what thoughts we exercise inside. We don't try to be like them even, because I believe that you create your own success your own way, but you have to actually understand how to work your inner game. When you work your inner game, you actually know how to create success. It doesn't have to be my way. It doesn't have to look exactly like the other person's way. It can be like 2 steps like me, 3 steps like the other person, but you have to follow your intuition. You have to know what works for you, what doesn't. And that clarity only comes from you connecting with your intuition, you connecting with that magnificent side of you where you create, not follow. So don't put anyone to the pedestal. I really, really want to address this, because a lot of you guys see me as a pedestal and you're putting me onto that, that position higher than you are. I'm not. I don't. And by any chance, I don't want to display that at all. For me, it's really about guidance. For me, it's really about telling you what you're thinking, what the block is inside of your mindset, how you behave different. I like to share both of the sides of this spectrum, because I want you to know, like, this is how I think and feel and act. I always curious how other millionaires think and feel and act, and I want to share back the same way. And if you look at someone you hated it, you look at someone you judge, you look at someone you compare yourself, ask yourself, is that position that she's having, is the places you want to swap? You want to be like that? If that position is actually the space you want to swap, then put your ego aside, stop separating yourself and start embodying her, right? So ego and love, oneness and separation is what I teach in day 1 in Miracle Shift event. You already know where to go and sign up. I think seats are like 100 seats are already being taken and only open for a limited time. So it is time for you to learn to be the oneness. It is time for you to learn to really follow that oneness and not separate yourself, not compare and not thinking you're less than worthy of anyone else. What other people have is meant for you as well. So go ahead, sign up. I'm going to teach you what's behind the curtain of the manifestation, what really works, what doesn't, and also what's blocking you. And I really wanted to send this special gift to all of you here as my listeners. You are worthy of everything. You just have to know how to work your inner game right now. So go ahead, bit.ly.com/miracle shift. Link is also in my bio at empower.muse or in the show note. And with lots of love, send you so much love.
Thank you so much to spend your time here with me, because time is the biggest asset anyone would ever have. If you feel moved, prompted, and inspired by this episode, please give it a share on your story and tag me at empower.muse. I always love being in a conversation with you, my beloved audiences. Until next time, remember that in the empowered feminine world, we are the creator of our own life. Stay empowered, stay successful, and stay motivated. Bye for now.